Yo, moin Freunde, was geht ab bei euch? Alles gut? Willkommen zurück in der Nerd Crate. Heute Abend mit einem ganz besonderen Gast und deswegen gehe ich jetzt auch direkt auf Englisch. Bobby Skullface, how you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
Intro you got, man. That's fancy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes you're also fancy. I mean, you built your whole review space just fully anew. I mean, from scratch. That's super dope.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, sometimes you have these kind of windowsill reviewers where they really do reviews on the windowsill and they film it in that super grainy camera kind of stuff, you know. And I said, if I want to make reviews, I try to do it the best as I can because I don't have a 4K camcorder. Those things cost a bunch. So that's why what I did this way. But dude, thanks so much. I know you are a busy dude. You got your family, you got your usual job, you got your dioramas, your videos, Patreon interspliced with that. So
yes,
a
sir.
lot of. So if I don't know, 24 hours is that okay with you, or could you use some more?
I could use a few more. I'll be honest with you. A few more. Actually, just 2 more would be great.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, sometimes we all could, but I mean, you also and also my buddy Dan. Oh, hey, we also got people in the chat. They're waiting. We got Shoki reviews. We got David Lanchin. We got Senator Bay reviews and Andreas Berger, super cool dude. He loaned me the whole Masters of the Universe Origin stuff, and way more to come. So a lot of cool people, man. So yeah. The community is crazy. I mean, how many people loan us stuff? You know, they trust us. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I don't get how people actually, quite honestly, can call you ham-fisted because sometimes I think, yeah, really, because I mean, you just do stuff exactly like how I do them. I mean, you make that stuff sometimes up on the fly because some instructions also omit just steps. You just have to go around with some way, right?
So I don't think I'm necessarily ham-fisted either, but I think that I am average. I think I do what the average person does. I think that a lot of people do it far more delicately than the average person, and that's why mine seems ham-fisted. But I think that, like, I think most people, like, I get hit up a fair amount from people that are like, I like the way that you handle things because I feel like it's me. That's how I would handle it, so I know how it's going to hold up. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm average. Sometimes I can be a little rough on stuff, but you never other people's shit. You know, only mine that I'm. Yeah. You know, I get frustrated, and it gets the best of me sometimes. But
yeah, I know what you mean. But sometimes it's also just the materials. You know, I mean, I always like to reference Masterpiece Hound. You know. I mean, at the start of the review, you said, okay, this feels a lot like this weird magic square stuff, and then you're at this foot portion with that flap, and it just fell down. It just looked like it would slip from the pin or something, but it just plain broke. Yeah, and that is so overly weird. So sometimes you just can't help it.
That's one I feel like was just waiting all day to break. Like it couldn't wait for the opportunity to break. It was just waiting for anybody to look at it sideways so it could just fall apart. But.
Yeah, essentially, like, okay, today's the day. Okay, now's the time. Now I'm going to give Bobby shit.
Yeah.
So, dude, I got a few questions down. I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm super appreciative you're doing this. Yeah, you wanted to do this in quite a while. So there's so many people out there, and for people that don't know it, this program is a little bit to bridge a few fandoms, because sometimes you have people that collect Lego, or they collect Storm collectibles, or Star Wars, or Transformers, and sometimes, or even most of the time, those fandoms are kind of divided. And with this, I just want to bring everybody in, so people are maybe like with Masters of the Universe, because you don't do a lot of Masters of the Universe, you got that in your Defending Myths and Heroes banner and everything in there. But it's not too much on your channel, you know? So maybe those guys don't know you.
Yeah, that's true. I'm interested in what that new line is going to be like, that one that's supposed to be announced this year. I'll keep an eye on that. But I don't really like I like the classics line, but I don't really like the super tune, whatever the next one that they did after classics. I wasn't really crazy about that. But I love the 2000 show. I don't really like the toys along with it, but I love the show.
Yeah, that line was amazing. I love the show. I hated that it was, I don't know, it was believed canceled season 2. They did the whole King Grayskull stuff, but afterwards it was
great.
Yeah, and your origins line is amazing. Like really, when you played with those things back in the day, you know they had the arms, they had the legs, they had the hip,
Right,
and that
right.
was essentially it. But the new ones, even the rocker on a disc hinge, so you can get a running post and everything. They're super fun. I mean, you always have to say main line. There's some paint bleed and everything, but
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
tolerance is overall well, and the disc hinges and rockers they work so good. A lot of fun. Maybe you check them out on my thing. I got a few of those. So but nevertheless, dude, how did you start it essentially? Like, I mean, why you got the mask and everything, and your name is of course known now. You want to kind of protect your family. I mean, you are now already, let's call it that way, pretty big. You're
No,
approaching 28,000 subscribers.
it
I mean,
doesn't.
that is
It doesn't feel that way. Like I'll say that. Like I got started. I was on another podcast, and we were looking at the time. There was like remember that Generations Blitzwing, like it came out around the same time as that, like the IDW Springer. There was a third party company that made upgrade faces and stuff for it, and one of the faces was a skull face, which I think has some sort of animated reference. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it has some place in the lore, right? Yeah. And some guy on the show was like, and now we're gonna look at Blitzwing Skullface. And I was like, man, I wish I had a cool name like that. And then some guy on the show was like, well, I'll call you Bobby Skullface. And then that was that.
And it's spitball from there then, essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
Just that simple. I wore the mask for a number of reasons, but for one, because of the name, right? And then for two, like I started this when I started doing this when I was 34, and I was pretty sure that I had my work, you know what I mean, my personal life together. Yeah. But I didn't know where the future of all of this was going to go and where the future of my work, you know what I mean? Like I thought I had my career, but things happen, things change, and I was kind of like pre-planning for the future so that if this thing took off and I was saying something crazy, that my face was protected if I went to get a new job. But as it turns out, I don't, like, my job is secure and I'm good to go. Luckily, you know, but then it's just stuck, and now it'd be silly to take it off, you know?
But you think so? It would be silly. Like, I mean, it's always essentially like a Slipknot thing. Sometimes you take it off, and then it even spitballs from another direction. All those were the mask kind of dudes, but now they got their own thing with Stone Sour and everything. And I mean, you also did this.
I do feel like once they took it off, it was never quite the same.
That's true.
You know, and I think about other people too, like Ghostface and Wu-Tang did the same thing. And once he took it off, it was over. It wasn't, you know what I mean? They still called him Ghostface, still had a successful career, but the Ghostface element was over.
Yeah.
Who else pops to mind? MF Doom. You know, he wore the mask the entire.
I didn't know the dude, but I heard he was pretty loved in the community and everything.
Yeah, and he wore a mask the entire time, and it's kind of like part of his stick. You know, I just now it'd be like, you know, Bobby Normal Face. It just doesn't have the same ring to
it. that's true. We have that German dude also. There was a German hip hop crew called Agro Berlin, Agro Berlin, and this guy was named Sido, and he had a skull mask too, fully chromed and everything.
Yeah.
And essentially, he took it off, and sometimes when he had other projects, he put it on again. But then again, the haters came around and said he took off the mask again. Why it's now on again? I mean, he's that hipster kind of dude now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So I'm not Brad Pitt, man. You're better off just looking at the mask.
Ah, come on. I know how you look. You're not that bad, man.
You know what I mean? So I'm doing you a favor. You should these people should be thanking me instead of telling me I'm an idiot.
No way, dude. But hey, that's interesting. Like, little something else that I think about. Like in your video, first of all, congrats on the success, man. Chlorine is probably, like, to me, your best song. I heard that back and forth.
Thanks, man.
It's really, really cool. And there's this bit at the start where you are hanging out with a bunch of dudes, and maybe also on a podcast or anything.
That was the show. That was the show. Correct. And I had it's kind of, I guess you could call it the Skull Fest beta version. Okay. You know, I love those dudes. I still respect all those dudes. But I love those dudes at the time. And I was on the show. Yeah, and I invited them out to like do a live recording at my house. So like they came out and did a live recording at the house. And so while I was talking about it, that was footage of it.
Sorry, Kato just says, I wear a Kato mask. I'm really 67-year-old white lady.
So it's like, you know, it was just that was it. I was talking about that point in time, and I had footage at that point in time. That was kind of a gift of doing that song, was just how much footage I have accumulated over 6 years that, like, you know, I just have on standby, just, you know what I mean, if I need it for something. And and then for that I got to kind of go back through it, and some of it was emotional going back through, because you know, stuff like I footage of Big Mike, you know, and all, and you know, it was a friend of mine I lost this year. It was in the community, you know, so it was like there was a lot of little stuff like that it's like a gift and a curse, you know, like I have it, so like I have like these people captured, you know, in a way for all time. Like if, you know, God forbid anything else would happen, like you can kind of preserve a memory in a way, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, you know, it was like melancholy a bit to kind of go through it, and you know, and then all the memories that kind of come along with it, both good and bad.
Yeah, I bet so. That's actually an actual good bridge, because there's one line in the song where you said, let's get the melancholic stuff out of the way first, I guess. It cost you the price of your friendship friend. What was that about, if I may ask?
My childhood friend. So my buddy Adam, I became friends with him when I was in 6th grade. I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And like he lived in the same community that I lived in, but like there was, it's hard to imagine, but like it was split by one road that kind of ran into it and split this circle, and he was on the other side of the circle. So we kids on my side didn't really go over there much, and vice versa. But we ended up going to the same middle school, and it's a long story, but I went to a different elementary school than my neighborhood did, because that elementary school was kind of shitty, and there was another school that had open enrollment that my dad took advantage of and put me in this other elementary school. So then I went but they didn't have it for middle school, so I had to go to the shitty middle school. And when I went to the shitty middle school, I didn't really know anybody except for kids in the neighborhood, because I didn't go through elementary school with these kids. So I had to meet new friends, which is kind of a tradition in my life to an extent. But like he was one of the first ones I met, and I met him because he was drawing Spider-Man, and I think I was drawing Wolverine like one day, and somebody noticed it, and somebody took a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog that I drew for them to him. Like, there's another guy that can draw, kind of thing. Yeah. And I drew it on typewriter paper, but he took it and put it up against this Coke machine. He was like, it's see-through. He traced it. So at first I was like, man, fuck this kid. But then but then, like, you know, we started talking, we hit it off. We loved comics. We loved, you know, Marvel at the time. We both loved the artists that, you know, grew from that into Image, like the, you know, McFarlane's, the Lees, the Protasias, the Silvestris, you know, all those folks. Gotcha. Kind of followed all of that. He got into DC after that. I kind of got into DC after that. You know, like we're on the same trajectory. He had kids, I had kids. We stayed in touch, even though he kind of moved to a different town. And, you know, I got kicked out of all these schools. I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. And
okay.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, our journey's been all over the place. We always kept in touch. We always remained cool. Every now and then we'd have a falling out, as friends do, but then you come back together, you know, later on. And, you know, at this point in our lives, I think at 40, we just became, you know, as we were approaching 40 anyway, we were becoming different people, you know, and we could have been fine. I think we could have been fine. And we may be fine again one day. You know, like, it's not like I hate the dude. It's not like he hates me.
I know what you mean. 100%.
Like, I love him. I'm always going to love him. Like, I've got serious fucking gripes with him over shit that's happened. But if he called me right now, I'd be like, Tim, I got to go help my guy.
That's the one thing, right? I mean, it's all about communicating. You have that lid in your face for a reason, man. You just open it up.
But I think that, you know, him and I doing Nerd Rage for 3 hours a week, every week, I don't think that we should have ever spent that amount of time together. Like, I think that who we had become. It probably would have been better if we saw each other like you see your brother, like, once every other month or something, and you hang out for like the day, and then you're like, all right, man, see you, catch up with you. And you know what I'm saying? It's like we spent 3 hours. I mean, that's 3 hours for just the show, let alone a half hour before and a half hour after, usually about 4 hours every week at minimum. Let alone when we got together for dinners or to get the kids together or a kid's birthday or Christmas or whatever the case may be. So we just spent a lot of time together. And I think the people that we became, they weren't compatible for that amount of time every week. They were compatible for a couple hours a month, maybe, and would have been fine.
I know what you mean. I have it the other way around, where sometimes you just drift apart because just simply people change. Like their personalities change, and you don't even need to hang out much. Sometimes you just drift apart by actually physically drifting apart. When you see each other maybe once or twice a year, you still kind of click, but then you are talking, and you feel like, okay, there's not amount of stuff you can talk anymore. There are all these memories and there are all these stories, and you still laugh about it. But at the same time, from the usual day life, there's something missing.
Yeah, I mean. I had kept it kind of under wraps for so long. Like, people would write in like, where's Adam? I miss Adam on the show. You know what I mean? Because he with the show for 200 some episodes, and I just ignored it. And then I thought on the song was like, I will make it crystal clear that there is a division now. You know what I mean? That it's not all peaches and cream. It's not hate. But it's not peaches and cream, and it fucked me up, man. Like it hurt. Like I'm like Anakin. Fucking, I have strong attachments, and so I'm dealing with it in my own way. But like, it's one of the things I've been grateful for with Patreon is like we had this show called Wine and Cheese that my wife and I do, and like we just fucking open up, like really try to open up, and like I've gotten to some dark places on that shit, but it's helped me, I think, understand it and move forward. And so anyway, I don't want to make it sound like it's callous, because I was always afraid that line afterward, that casualty of war, that it came across like whatever, but like I don't feel that way at all. Like that shit fucked me up. It still fucks me up. I think about the dude all the time. You know what I mean?
Me too. It was about what I said about was my best friend too for quite a long time, and we've known each other for 20 years when we broke, essentially. Like I broke it off because my mom wasn't good at the time. She's passed away now, and she had a rough time during Christmas, and usually we would meet during Christmas, and we would hang out, and we would get a drink or 12. Right. And but that particular Christmas, at first we had a falling out because I tried to organize a little trip to a convention, which eventually was not even canceled by everybody that was involved, but it was just, it just went by, and they were going by themselves without messaging me, while I was trying to message everybody and get them in on that. And then there was the Christmas time, and usually we would try and do that, and it didn't happen, and he even didn't mean to make it up or anything, and it just drifted apart from that, because I wanted to try, like we said, communicate. We just wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about it, figure out what the hell went wrong. Why didn't he have the time, or why? I don't know. Just what happened. I just didn't get it. And he was like, "Man, just let it go." And that was the last thing that was spoken. So there wasn't a priority for him,
Yeah. I mean, it's complicated for us too, man. Like, like our kids, we're friends, and and refer to each other as cousins, and so my kids are always like, man, when are we going to see him again? And, so it's, it's ugly, but it's like, it's, it's just, I don't, to get back to the original question, like obviously I take responsibility for my part, and I assume that he would take responsibility for his part as well. But, more importantly, I think just having to be together and work together, like, cause their age was work, and, a lot of stuff that we did on business and all that, like it was work, and we had to work together, like as a team. And it was asking a lot of us, I think, for the type of people we had become. When we were 11 and we were working on a comic book, it was no problem. Yeah. But at 38, 39, working on something like, who we are at 38 and 39 wasn't who we were at 11,
Yeah. it's yeah, it just that's pretty much, I believe that's pretty much the gist of things, because it comes down to just evolving over time. I believe you
Yeah.
can take it any other way. That's essentially it. But since you said you were both drawing, like you were drawing Wolverine.
Yeah. I was like this one particular day that somebody told me that he was drawing Spider-Man and that he drew also, you know. Yeah,
Okay.
but like, yeah, I loved Marvel as a kid. I mean, I love Marvel now, but I always loved the X-Men, particularly, you know, like Gambit specifically. But I love Rogue, Psylocke. I mean, I have a lot of X-Men shit, you know, like I'm an X-Men fan, heavy.
Yeah, I'm just building up something, because I used to read a little bit of X-Men back in the day in the 90s with the Jim Lee run. I love those with Psylocke and with Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue. I want to have this particular version in my shelf now. So no, I'm actually digging into Mayfax and Mescal. Those are
that Mayfax in particular is fantastic.
Yeah, I got the Carnage, which is also bringing me to the next point before we get further. But you are now doing your drawings digitally or still by hand?
I do them digitally now because it's just saves me a step, honestly. Because I used to always do them by hand and then scan them into the computer. But like, I draw on 11 by 14, but my scanner was 8 by 10. So I'd always have to scan it in two separate sections and then import it in and then line up all the line work and hope I scan them in straight and perfect, and then make that one file, then detach the black lines from it. And you know what I mean? So like now it just saved me like 4 or 5 steps. I love drawing digitally, man. I haven't drawn in a while because I just had other stuff going on, but I'm anxious to get back to it.
Like really anxious or looking forward to it?
Both.
Okay. Yeah, I had that a while back too. Like I drawn everything from scratch with pencil, but I wasn't the guy. I can't draw from scratch. I can copy, not trace lying over it, but actually copy. I have a copy on the side, and then just copy it. But from myself, I can draw for jack shit, dude. Like, so I'm actually pretty envious of that. But also, on chlorine, and a question I ask about, or ask myself about, do you rap from a text, or do you even can do freestyle?
No, I'm not a freestyler. I'm definitely a writer.
Okay.
I kid, but I write. I mean, I write and rewrite and scratch up and write and scribble and write again, and you know, like I take a lot of time with the writing, I will say. You know, whether people think it's well done or not, I just want them to know it's not through any lack of effort. Like I take a lot of time on the writing end of things.
But I mean, hey, those are good texts, and at the end of the day, you still have to get it to fit to the beat, you know. So there's still stuff involved. But since we were on Mayfax, that was usually one of the first questions I usually ask. But we went in deep already. So did you get anything new? We're still on a collector's page, you know. So
I got some. I got 2 weird things. Oh, I got MMC's Rewind and Chrome Dome today. That just came in.
Cool.
I haven't opened up the box. Like I haven't even opened up the box that it's sitting in.
Yeah.
I got that today. I got
yeah, you gotta love IDW, right? I just got the Ultra Magnus from Iron Factory. That thing is amazing.
Yeah. So I have that here. That's Robert's, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I have what else I get? I got I'm not crazy about it. Well, I'm not crazy about the quality of it, but I do think they look pretty cool. Is that those Diamond Select Gallery statues? They're like $45.
Ah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I got one of the Joker that just recently released. Because I'm trying to build this little Joker shelf over here. It looks pretty good. It's fun. And then I got
is that shelf going to go into your module case, or is that going to go into somewhere else?
No, it's going. So I have this. I don't know if you can see any of it. You know, from this vantage point, but like I've got this kind of new thing I'm doing in here where it's like, can you see this shelf here?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit hidden by the microphone, but overall.
So it's like I've been doing this a lot recently. It's like so it's like a Harley shelf, and it's got some books about her. It's got like a couple figures, a couple statues, like just like a mix, you know. But it's like like an ode to the character, like a love letter to the character. So I have one that I'm building for the Joker, and it's like in a Billy similar shelf on the other side. But yeah. So I've in the same breath as that, I'm doing this one on kind of horror icons recently, and I got a NECA Chucky for that.
Cool.
And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I got some stuff coming. I've been working a lot on these dioramas for my DC 112 figures.
I just saw the Green Lantern one. Looks good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. So like, I'm super excited about it because they are like looking very nice. But like, I'm working on a Batcave right now.
Oh,
yeah, it is pretty sweet. But shout out to InstaSam on Instagram. He inspired me. He's making these custom figures for 112th DC stuff.
Cool.
And I was like, I'm not doing that. But seeing his collections build, I was like, I want a collection now. So he do it, and I found a spot for it. And so I got like I'm picking a lot of them up from eBay for like $10. You know what I mean? Because they're so like, a lot of them are so unwanted. So I got like this random Red Lantern character. I don't even know who he is, but I got him for like $12. So he came today also. But
I mean, that is so weird. Green Lantern is kind of a little bit, I don't know, kind of hated. And I mean, when you really get into it, there are some pretty horrible stories with Parallax and the Death Lanterns and everything. There's some rough shit in those comics, actually.
Yeah, I think that he has the bad rep because of that movie, right? And the movie wasn't very good. But aside from Batman, in my opinion, he probably has the best written comic series, of DC. Like everything that Jeff Johns did with him from Rebirth to Blackest Night is, I mean, it's spectacular. Like
amazing. I read it all. I read Sinestro Corps War, the Death Lanterns. It's
like home run after home run after home run after home run.
I love the stuff they did with the Cyborg Superman ever since the Death and Return of Superman stuff with that, and all of a sudden he comes back. He has the lantern symbol instead of the S, and then he's getting his actual wish of dying, and in the end, I still got some shit to do for you. And then this one tear in that last panel, I was like, oh, dude.
Just the way that they show some of those classic DC characters with their lanterns, like, was brilliant to me. Like, Flash was a Blue Lantern, and Batman and Scarecrow both got yellow lanterns, and who else? Lex, they gave Lex the orange lantern, and it's just like it's so smart. But anyway, that kind of stuff pushes my buttons.
Yeah, me too. I got one question from the chat, man. Shoki just said, I should ask you about the mini Tolf.
yeah, it's up there. Shoki did this mini Tolf, and then I commissioned him to do another one for Robert D. But they're like a miniature Detolf, like, and the one I did the one I commissioned him for Robert D has like a Devastator in it, and he took the piece of glass out so that the Devastator could fit in it, like the way that people. Oh, dude, it's so great.
I saw him make it. It was so cool. That's also brings me to a lot of talented people. There's so many talented people out there. The stuff you showed.
I love the creative side to this shit, and I'll tell you, him and I have talked about doing something else this year as a commission gift for somebody. So okay, I can't put it out there because he might listen to this, but we have other plans.
Okay, yeah. I also meant the Marvel G1 comic stuff from Sam's Forge. Those things are also crazy. Yeah, and the top spin you just had. I mean, at first, man. Crazy. I mean, at first 3D printing was like super rough, like really chunky surfaces and everything, and now they're becoming way more smooth, and they have tolerances and ratchets. I mean, hello.
I have another fan-made thing that has arrived. I haven't had a chance to mess with yet, but I will tell you that it is pretty impressive, at least in pictures that he sent me, and Rob J, and it is very large.
Oh, cool.
And it is very heavy, and it is an original production, and I'm going to be looking at it soon. But it's
an original production.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's a Transformers thing, but he designed it, he made it, he, like, you know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. I love all that type of shit. I love, and anytime anybody's like, man, like, like you sent them my way. And now I sold, like, I'm like, dude, great. Cause like, it's beautiful to, like, I don't know, have some ownership of this shit. When you grow up and you dump money and time and energy and effort, and then it gives back to you a little bit. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I also felt like. One of my most favorite shelves, maybe the favorite shelf I have in my collection, is actually my Dio for Mortal Kombat. That's just scratch built. Thanks, dude. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I feel like I should do something else. Maybe Street Fighter, maybe Ken stage. Have, I don't know, the yacht from Playmobil or something. Put that in the background there. Right. I think that could be something, and it shouldn't be too big. I mean, I don't have too many more Street Fighter characters. That could be just going to the D12. That would be easy, I believe. But yeah. Also, like I said, what Sans Forge did, the Power Master Prime, there are so many creative people, and sometimes you too. I mean, there's so simple things that you work with. That little step, you want to have a stone surface in styrofoam. You just take crumpled up aluminum foil. It's just such a easy step.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of stuff it's almost like insider trading, right? Like somebody comes up with something and then they share it, and then you pick up something from over here, and then you share it, and then, you know what I mean? It's I like that. That's kind of like the culture stuff that I like.
Yeah, that's also the community thing. I mean, many people maybe also sometimes give different people shit for, oh, you got a YouTube channel, you get this and that, you're gifted to that. But at the end of the day, we're still collectors. We're still in this community, and we are benefiting from all of that. From may it be the Patreon version of your videos or your shorter ones. I mean, it's not a full-blown tutorial, but you can still see how you do it. I mean, it's essentially, if you don't have dual left hands, you can always do it. When you can think it up, you can do it essentially.
Yep.
But is there? This is a one-dimensional question I have in here. What do you collect? But the thing is, what you collect is now a super big scope. I mean, you got Black Series, 3 3/4, the usual Star Wars from Hot Toys, Transformers Masterpiece, Legends, not right?
No.
Okay.
No Legends.
But is there something else besides that where you think, okay, this is really a threat. This could enter my collection and maybe get me a month of ramen noodles, because I'm so interested in that stuff, and it's getting better and better and better, and the margin is getting even more tiny every month to stay away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have any interest at all in it. The only allure that I have in it would be like a display that would be like in a coffee table, to like a diorama for a display. But I don't really have any interest in it. Like, I think it's cool. I think that in particular what New Age and Iron Factory do is nothing short of amazing. But but I it's just not for me. Like, you know what? I think that because I collected 3 3/4 Star Wars figures for so long, and I know how exhausting a small collection can be, like, in order to display it in a meaningful way and find space for it all. And I just don't want any little things. I'm like, me and my wife are in the same ballpark.
And I think also with your statues now being your collection is going to be bigger and bigger now, right? I mean, you got stuff not coming in all the time, but you got stuff on pre-order with statues, right?
Yeah, yes, but it's finite. So, like, I have a certain amount of space that I'm donating or dedicating to statues, and when that space is full, my time with statues is full, because while I think they're beautiful and I love looking at them, I know that, like, the time that it takes for it to come in stock, right, for the process to be fulfilled, and the amount of money that it costs, that I can't sustain that. And what I mean by that is I can't sustain my excitement level for it, whereas I start to feel angry almost about the amount of money I have invested in something and nothing to show for it. And then, I don't know. Something I've been kicking around recently. It's a complicated thing. I love the statues that I have. There's there's a handful more that I want. I kind of know what I want. I want to have that collection. It is important for me to have that collection. And when it's done, so am I. Like with statues, with big quarter scale, third scale statues, with that shit. I'm in it for the short run, not the long run.
Okay. But is there any fandom that you think that could be a danger to you diving into? Like maybe let's say you're not collecting those. That's why I take it as an example. Like Super Seven's Thundercats. I mean, they're now showing the Thunder Tank. Is there any franchise out there where you say, okay, I don't want to go in there, but it's getting harder and harder for me to stay away, you know?
So I'm gonna do the Thundercats, not the whole line. I'm gonna cherry pick just certain ones and have like a little tiny shelf for them. I'm probably gonna end up doing the same thing with Silverhawks from Super 7. That was just recently.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what could really get me in a pickle because most of the stuff that would come out now, I would like. It would be such a small thing for me. Like, I don't mean that financially. I just mean that like Silverhawks, right? Like I like Silverhawks. I liked them as a kid, but like I don't need all of them. I just need like 5, and like the 5 that I cared about as a kid, and I'm good. Kind of the same thing with Thundercats. Like I like Thundercats, loved it as a kid, but I only really care about 5 of the characters. So I'm gonna get my few, and then I'm out.
I know what you mean.
So I'm kind of in a good spot there. I think what would fucking ruin me is if they did like some sort of collection of like kind of like what NECA does with movie stuff, but with less kind of cult classic-y movies. Like if they did like Goodfellas and you know stuff like that, like I would probably be in for all of it. If they did if Hot Toys got the license to Sopranos or and even other stuff like Boogie Nights, like movies that I just love. You know what I mean? I would be in real trouble with that, but I think I'm safe because I don't think there's a lot of money in that shit, and at least in that market. So I think I'm safe. The other thing that would really press me is if somebody, and once again, it's the licensing thing. It would like never fucking happen, but like, well, maybe if Universal continues on their trajectory, maybe one day it could happen. But if somebody did like a 1/12 scale line of musicians, like kind of similar to what Figuarts is doing, but you had like Freddie Mercury and you had Michael Jackson and you had everything from Marilyn Manson to Pop Smoke, you know what I mean, and everything. Like that would probably ruin me also.
I mean, McFarlane Toys tried something back in the day with a Metallica set and also with Kiss.
Yeah, and they did a Alice Cooper and a Guns N' Roses, and but you'd have to. The thing for me to go in on that, like I would cherry pick, but the thing for me to really for it to be a problem for me, would they'd be like, look, we're doing every musical icon that we can fucking do. We're gonna do it. I'd be like, oh
yeah,
God.
that would be rough. I mean, did you see Bohemian Rhapsody with Rami Malek?
Oh yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's good.
I did think he did an amazing job.
Yeah,
little question from David Lynch in the chat. Are you in on the Mayfix Batman Hush?
Yeah, I reviewed it on It's on Patreon.
Okay, yeah, that's also interesting. You said for yourself, or you I don't know, you kind of singled those out. What made you? Did you kind of analyze it? Did you analyze your analytics on YouTube where you said, okay, I'm gonna now take the Star Wars stuff, I'm gonna call it essentially Skull Wars, like what you did, and I'm gonna take Hot Toys and I'm gonna take Transformers, and that's essentially my stuff now on YouTube. I'm gonna single everything else out, put that on a Patreon because I just feel the work is okay. I just love doing this stuff, but it's just I need to single it out a little bit. How did that came about?
Yeah, so initially I took everything off of YouTube that wasn't Transformers and put it all on Patreon. So all the Star Wars stuff was on Patreon. Everything that wasn't Transformers was on Patreon.
Okay.
And then what ended up happening was everybody started hating Star Wars. So then so as soon as everybody started hating Star Wars, like if you know me, then you're like, okay, then I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to fight and tell you why it's so fucking great. Right. That's just my rebellious name. That's why I went to 3 high schools in 4 years.
That's right? Also what happened a little bit with us too that one time.
Well, yeah, we could talk about that too. But like, I bucked the system, right? So like, if everybody in the memes is telling me that The Last Jedi is shit and I'm loving it, well then okay, I'm gonna do nothing but tell you why I think it's great, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a contrarian, I guess, in that regard at times. But however, when that happened, I went to the Patreon supporters and I was like, look, I kind of want to put Star Wars shit back on the channel and do Star Wars discussions on the channel. And they were like all for it. So that's what I want to do. Now everybody loves Star Wars again because of the Mandalorian, right? So now, now I'm kind of not as committed to having that shit on my channel anymore. Like I kind of feel like the fight is over, right? So like it had nothing to do with
kind of you getting bored by it actually a little bit.
Well, just like there's like the fight that I was looking to fight isn't really out there anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I'm like, who's next? Who's next? And it's just like a tumbleweed goes by. Like it's like nobody fight anymore. So I'm kind of like I'm over the discussion aspect of it. So like as far as the other stuff, like I didn't need to really look at analytics per se. Like I could just look at like scroll through my phone at my videos and be like, okay, this Transformers review did 2,000 views. This did 3,000 views. The Sit Down Saturday does 5,000 views. TMNT Leonardo does 700 views. Well, okay. So like the problem with that from a business perspective is that like it's better to put out 2 videos a week that have 1,000 views than put out 5 videos a week, 2 of which that have 1,000 and 2 of which that have 50 views, because it just drags down your average, right? And then your average is kind of how YouTube projects the algorithm. So the only reason why I'm keeping Star Wars shit on there for now is because I was fighting the fight, and the fuck the algorithm be damned. I don't give a shit, right? But now I might rethink it a bit. But like the thing is with the other stuff is that like, well, look, it's actually doing my channel a disservice. I still really like looking at action figures. I enjoy it an awful lot. I got this other platform on Patreon. Why not just give them more? And it used to be that I was, dude, like for those folks, there's folks that have been on Patreon with me for years now. And they know that like initially it was like 4 or 5 things a month. Now I'm posting something every day. You know, sometimes I had to skip Saturday and Sunday. And sometimes I forget because it's just so much shit. I forget to post shit. Like it's so like, so
I had that a while back too, when I had this cardboard box full of Motu Origins, and I was trying to, okay, how I'm gonna put this out and also intersplice my own stuff, so it's not looking like, okay, he's gotten all the loans, but how about his own stuff, you know?
Yeah, I would much rather post a video to Patreon and get 50 views from people that I know want to be there and see it and support me than I would put it on my channel and get 800 views. I'd much rather do the Patreon for 50 views.
Yeah, I know where you're getting at. Like it's a passionate thing. That's also what Dan of Sentinel Bay just said. Your Star Wars videos are your most passionate, as I told you once, enjoying them a lot. So it's all about how you love it. I was to take your saying, I was in a pickle a few months back when I saw that my channel wasn't coming around. But quite honestly, there are so many people out there that are now doing reviews. How are you supposed to invent the wheel all anew? You know, it's not possible. So the only thing that you can do is take your own space, make that relevant, and still be yourself. Just be yourself, what you like, show that people, and eventually they come around. And that's also with your own stuff. So the way you do it now, that's also what I said in your comment. You know, if you love your Star Wars stuff, that's all good. But it's not 100% my things, and that's also coming back a little bit to the communication. We just worked it out. You just took the comment a little bit wrong, but we just had a call. We worked it out, and then it was all good. It was all good again. So
let me clarify that a bit because you just to the English speaking folks. Yeah. So what Tim is talking about so Tim and I know each other. Like we have a rapport. We've PM'd. You know, privately, and like I know him, he knows me. So there was one time where he left a comment on my channel that had something to do disappointed that Storm Collectibles reviews weren't on my channel and they were on Patreon, and Star Wars was on my channel.
Yeah,
and something to that effect. And I was irritated and took offense to it, not because of what he said, but only because he knows me. So if he had an issue, he could have hit me up one-on-one privately, the same way he's hit me up privately about other things. So that's what I took issue to. So long story short, we did get on the phone immediately. I was fucking hot that day. And like what's funny is I was going, like 1,000 things were going on at that time. I was going to Baltimore Comic-Con to set up. I think TFCon was like the following weekend. Like I had 1,000 things going on, and then there was this comment, right? So like I'm driving, and I screamed something when I was on the phone. And people that don't know me will think that like that means I'm super pissed, but I scream all the time. I'm a fucking yeller. Like I'm I'm that person. So like my kids quote it to this day, like, cause they were in the car, and whatever it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, you like that? So like a lot of times my kids will be like, like they'll give me the report card or something. And then they'll be like, you like that? Like, you always call back to that. Now to take that further, after we got off the phone and everything was settled and cool, I'm still fucking wound up, right? So I'm driving into the city to set up for Baltimore Comic-Con, and this guy cuts me off. I start fucking screaming at this dude. Head out the window, like calling him a motherfucker, like, I'm all over him. And then this Baltimore City cop like pulls up on me, like whoop whoop, and I'm like, look, I'm fucking angry and I'm sorry, okay, but I don't know. I was. And then they gave me a pretty. They were like, you better calm the fuck down. I'm gonna, all that type of cop talk. But luckily, I they didn't pinch me. But that day was a funny day in general.
Yeah, it was just interesting that we're essentially coming from the same place. We can always talk directly, genuinely, but there was this one point where our opinions divided. You were like, "Hey, you don't need to put that comment up there. You just hit me up privately," and I'm like, I would always talk fair and square, but I would take that wherever because I have no gripes with it, and you could do the same thing. It was just this little thing that divided our opinion. That was all. That was just the interesting thing. But that was also that's what I loved. You just called me. We just cleared the air, and that was essentially it.
Yeah, I'm a pretty direct person.
Yeah, me too. That's also what you said to me at TF. Dude, maybe call maybe a little bit down. You're very come offish, very direct. that's just
even Chris recently, we were on Nerd Rage, was like, he was like, sometimes it's hard, man, because you're just so fucking blunt, and it's like it is something that I'm working on me.
Dude, we have a saying, stumpf is trumpf, that essentially means blunt is triumphant, if you want to call it that way, because you just go out. There's no way you can take shit differently. It's just the way you're getting it fair and square. If people can take it, sorry about that, but at least that's the truth. So it's coming back to your motto, essentially. But okay. Back to collecting a little bit. Absolute grail, existent or not? Do you have it?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any like feasible one, right? Like I think that like if I had to pick one, like the Boba Fett with the fucking firing missile would probably be up there, but like I wouldn't even know how to display it. I think that like grails for me are more so like, the completely unachievable almost at this point. Like, I want a picture with, the cast of 77 Star Wars. Well, you can't do it because half of them are dead. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like it would always be something like that. Like,
Okay, let's take something feasible. Like a grail to me would be if Bandai would announce a Soul of Shogoken Ramrod, Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, tomorrow.
Okay, so you're like something that I would like for me for that it would be this imaginary SH Figuarts music line, that like and then an SDCC box set of Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, cool. So okay, maybe I should add that a little bit more feasible. You got a good point with that, but question from Sentinel Bay reviews. That was the wrong one. As a Maryland resident, did you watch The Wire? And is its portrayal of Baltimore somewhat accurate?
So yeah, I definitely watched The Wire. Yes, it is accurate. Like, and like if you are really from here, like I grew up here, that's all I know, right? So like a lot of times during that show, you would be like when different politicians or police chiefs or whatever, I would be like, oh, that's so and so. And that's so-and-so, like that's who they're trying to emulate there. However, as great as The Wire is, and it is great, there's a show that came before The Wire by the same group of folks called The Corner.
Okay.
Which is based on a true story, and it's only like it's only 6 episodes, and it's based on a 100% true story of the McCullough family from West Baltimore. And I read the book, and I'm not that guy. Like, I read the book, like you know, most of the time when people are like, "Well, I read the book," I'm like, "Idiot! You could have just watched the show." But I happened to read it before the show, right? And because it was from the area, and that was that book, like that book made me cry. It's the only book I've ever read that made me cry. But it's fucking very tragic. And basically, this guy that worked for the Baltimore Sun, they paid this family and basically rent, and lived in their house and documented the family for over the course of a year. So like, it's really very intimate. The corner, but the Wire is great. The Wire is great, of course, but the corner, I always try to push it because, so to speak, because it doesn't have the fanfare that the Wire does, but it's even more real, and is even it's not better. It's not better at all, but it's more intimate.
Oh, okay. But essentially now I have 2 things to watch from Maryland, because Dan always giving me shit, man. You gotta watch The Wire, and now there's the corner again too. Okay, so
I took Cody, he's from UK, and I
know.
I took him through Baltimore, like, just to drive him around, like showing the city, and he's like, "Do these houses not have windows?" Because the city's in rough shape, man. Or it's getting better. It is getting better, but like if you knew it over time, you would know that it's getting better. But it's in rough shape. It's a rough town. Baltimore town. Now, you know how a lot of cities, they have like their bad spots. Like, oh, careful, they have their bad spots over here. That's a bad spot. Baltimore is the inverse. It's like it has its good spots. Like oh, that's a good spot. You can go there. Oh, like, oh yeah, downtown, yeah, it's a good spot. You can go there. And Fells Point is a good spot. Yeah, Federal Hill, yeah, you can go there. You know what I mean? It's like that.
That's what my play series got too. I'm living in the worst place in all of Germany, actually, with the unemployment rate and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's got its good spots too. You really define it by its bad spots. So essentially that. Yeah. But hey, people, if you like what we're doing here, what I'm doing, maybe you also leave a like and leave a subscribe. I would sure appreciate it. And otherwise, we are now getting back to the program, which would be another question. Is there a weird kind of talent that you have? Like, I don't know, there's, how can I say it? That's something I can't use. I'm doing it all the time when I'm listening to music. It's super weird. There's nothing I can do with it, but I can play fast beats with my tongue inside my mouth besides the teeth. It's super weird. It's a super weird fucking thing. No, I heard from no one ever. I'm putting this out there. It's a thing for me, but that's how I try to explain it. So is there something in that vicinity that you say, okay, I can do that? I don't know anyone else, but it's a thing I do, and I do it well.
I can do it.
Yeah, that I can do too.
I don't know. I'm like my elbows are double jointed. Yeah, like I'm trying to.
Wow! Ouch!
Yeah.
So hyper flexible.
Not everywhere, but my elbows, my thumbs are double jointed a little bit. Like I was
that I always see on your reviews, how you pick certain things up, and I always see your thumbs. I'm like, that's interesting.
What's funny is my 2 of my daughters, their thumbs like don't go beyond this. It's interesting. Okay, I better check the mailman. But
but essentially, what you're saying is your articulation is better than current fan toys figures.
Yes, and Super 7. I think that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that, like, because I was always that kid that, like, because of my elbows and shit, I would sit here and there was a girl behind me, I would make my elbows go all crazy and try to distract her and fuck with her school day. Shit like that. I was just on her rage this week that, like, we had to, like, the kids are getting ready to go back to school, hybrid planning or some shit. Like, they're going Thursdays and Fridays is the point. But like the principal had like a Zoom meeting and all the parents were invited to attend. And like the whole time I'm just like my wife's trying to listen for like all the information and shit. And I'm like, let's just put our, cause like our cameras are turned off for the Zoom meeting. Right. I was like, let's just I was like, let's go get our masks and put our masks on and turn the cameras on. Like we just always stay in the house with masks on, like watching the, and then I'm like, they're like, schools will be open at 8:00. I'm like, ask what time they're going to be open. Like, just, you know what I mean? I'm just being obnoxious. And my oldest daughter was like, is he always like this? And Laura was like, he was always like this. This is why he couldn't go to school like this,
But on the topic of the weird talent, Senator Barry just said, I can't decide which eye I'm using actively. I'm stereo blind, so I can either use my left or my right eye, but not both simultaneously.
It's crazy.
That's also. What did you say?
I don't know if I have any. I'm trying to think if I have anything else. It's like this, this weird like savant type thing, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not a man of many talents. I can play air. I play air synthesizer. Sometimes I play air turntables. I play air bass, but only like big bass, where like one hand is all the way up here and the other.
I'm doing the same thing. I just did that today, listening to the Doom Eternal soundtrack, doing my Philly cheese, and I'm like going. So
I'm pretty good at an assortment of air instruments. I play air drums sometimes, Yeah, sometimes I play air electric drums, but that's it.
So it's Bobby Skull Band.
Yeah. One man band.
That's good. I mean, people that know your channel know you're an outbox collector, but the question now says inbox or outbox collector, and why? It's of course. It's feasible. You do your dioramas with box collectibles would be loony. But is there a case where you actually keep something in your box?
In my box?
Or in a box, not in your box.
I have some stuff in box, like mainly for display purposes. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see up there, but like if you see where the turtles are, like above the turtles, I have like some Star Wars stuff in box.
Yeah.
But it's only for display purposes. So like I kind of feel that like a lot of people, not all, because a lot of people are doing it for display purposes like that too. But a lot of people collect stuff in box because they're in it for the value of it, right? Like they want it to and then it's easier to sell. Like there's a lot of reasons why you would do it. But like the monetary value of any of this means absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah, me neither. Like I wanna fiddle with these things. I mean, sometimes there are figures where I think, okay, sometimes you could have used it on the at 209 I got here, the Hot Toys 2.0 with the dome, and then the cat hair and everything is inside those rubber things, and I always have to pluck those out with tweezers every few months and oil that shit up because otherwise it's cracking with the salty air water. So sometimes it would be beneficial, but not for the money.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% with that. I mean, you're currently on a roll with Stunticons. What's your favorite shelf? Is actually that Stunticons, or is there something else you would call a favorite shelf?
Of the Transformers?
Or just in general, your whole collection. Could you narrow it down?
I don't know. So one of my favorites is my X-Men villains from Marvel Legends, like the Magneto shelf. Like I have him like sitting. It's a diorama, fully dioramaed, and he's sitting on this throne. The throne is the back of it is like made up of a sentinel hand, and like the way the pinky is, like he sits in it, and then he's got his arm like on the pinky of the sentinel hand, like it's an armrest. Cool. It just works really well, and there's like lightning in the background, and I did light sourcing. It was like the first time you try light sourcing on the dioramas. Like I did like some blue in there, like the lightning is reflecting off of the ground and everything. Like it worked really well. I'm really proud of it. It displays really well. So like that's one of my favorites. My Rogue One shelf of Jeddah, like the city, is like one of my favorites. I just finished this Transformer one recently that's for the Decepticon Headmasters that I haven't shown yet, but like I'm really proud of it. Nobody else really liked it, but I'm really proud of it. So that's kind of one of my favorites. And then like I told you, like some of these in here that I've been working on, like these little like character like a credit to the character kind of shelf. I have one for Harley. I have one for Wonder Woman. I have one for Catwoman. I have one that I'm working on for Joker. I don't know. I've really been enjoying them. Like I have one that I'm going to do for Poison Ivy for my wife. But yeah, I've really been enjoying them. My goal is to make it where I love every shelf. And like even this Green Lantern one that I just finished, like I fucking love that shit. And it's just so funny because they were all in there just a couple days ago looking like shit. And now, now it's like this little world, and it looks fucking great and cool, and it's inspiring, and it makes me want to do more. And my goal is to have all my shelves to the point where like I walk past and I'm like, man, yes. There's only one shelf I've done that I really hate. There used to be 2. I ripped it out. Now there's only one, and that's in my Star Wars Black Series. It's a Wampa cave thing. It doesn't work. It's dumb. It doesn't work at all. Stupid.
Sometimes you just have an idea and then you think about, I could maybe make that work, and then it's done and you're like, no. I had that with my Mortal Kombat stuff. Like Chris helped me with that. I had an idea how to maybe make that sandy surface that I had, but my idea was shit, and I was hitting him up, and he said to me, yeah, maybe try and mix the Mod Podge with the finer sea sand and make this as a ground, and then pour the rougher sand over it, and that worked. And afterwards I was, this is so clear. Like sometimes you just can't see it. Sometimes you're too attached to something you're actually doing. You need some detachment.
Yeah, I need to detach that whole shelf, I think. But yeah, I hear you.
Again, Sentinel Barry's question about dioramas. Anything you still don't dare trying, although your skills improved massively over the past years?
Anything I still don't dare try? Is that
he didn't specify that further. That's the whole question. So maybe overall in diorama doing and with your skills and in a full capacity. I don't know. Maybe.
What's the question? I'm not sure I understand the question.
His question is about dioramas. Anything you still don't dare trying, although your skills improved massively over the past years.
So I'm guessing that means anything I still don't dare try. I think that like I don't think so. The stuff that's harder for me.
He not specified it. Sorry, he said technique or setup.
So I think that the stuff that's harder for me to do is that like for instance, there's this Star Wars one that I want to do of the Inquisitor Castle. It's from the Fallen Order game, right, where all the Inquisitors were, I guess, stationed, and it's the wall paneling. It has to be so exact. That's why people use like the space walls and shit, or 3D printed walls or whatever, because it has to be so exact. You can't kind of bullshit your way through it. So like that kind of stuff is like always like I've tried it 1,000 times. I've tried to cut it with cardboard. I've tried plastic sheets, like the plastic card. I can't replicate it. So like that's something that I still don't dare try. I got to go to somebody like Chris who has a machine, or or Tyler that has like a bunch of 3D printers, and say like, can we make something work here? Because it's still something that like, it's just like, even if you get it as close as you possibly can, when you look at it, you can tell that it's done with a human hand as opposed to a machine. And the moment that clicks for you, the whole suspension of disbelief is gone.
Ah, okay. Yeah, okay, I get you. Yeah. Sometimes you can take all the measurements, caliper and whatever, but there's this human element that takes the error there, essentially.
Correct. Yeah. And now, to be fair, I think there's a charm the other way too, right? Like there's a charm when you can tell that there is hand involvement in there, right? Like when things aren't exact and when things aren't perfect, and when, you know what I mean? Like there's a time for both.
Yeah, absolutely. Like with what I said with stone, essentially, this doesn't have to look the same. This has to look chaotic, natural, organic.
Yep.
That's exactly it. Cantina of Transformers asked Bobby, are you collecting the retro collection? I believe he means the Star Wars Hot Toys, maybe? I don't know. What else would there be?
Okay, or there could be the Star Wars, the retro collection, Star Wars like the 3 3/4. They're like, I don't know. No, I'm not doing any retro stuff. Okay. Because I'll tell you why. I had when I first started getting back into Transformers, I went through my shit. I didn't even have it on display. I like went through my G1 stuff, and I realized that somewhere in the moves, I had lost a bin of Transformers, like G1 stuff from my childhood. Like I lost. I can't tell you every single one, but like I know Ultra Magnus was in there, Sunstreaker was in there, Wheeljack. Like I know there's somewhere in there, right? And I went on eBay and started buying them back, right? And then when they came, I didn't give a shit. So like I know that like the retro stuff, it needs to have been mine. Like it needs to have been in the sandbox with me. It needs to have been on the street with me or in the dirt with me. And if it's not, then it doesn't have that same meaning for me.
I know what you mean. I had that with Rhino from Mask. I lost mine. I don't know where it went.
Right.
But there was no way I could get it back. And then Dan from Sentinel Bay, he actually restored his collection. He got everything that he wanted. And during that course, it was also possible for him to get one for me. And it's not a super pristine one, but this looked like the one I had. And that is why I cherish it, because it's from him and it looks essentially like mine. And it was one of my most cherished toys, like also the Power Master Optimus Prime. To having that is still, it's just one of the favorites, even though it's that old. David Lenshin, both a question: with pandemic and collecting, are you surprised to see prices not only retaining but actually increasing with collectibles?
In terms of value or in terms of price?
He says prices. Surprised to see prices not only retaining but actually increasing.
Well, I mean, it would make sense that they would be increasing to me because of the the stressors that are involved with the pandemic. As terms of value, I do think that like a lot of people, man, like it's like funny, right? How life can dictate value to things. Like, I don't know how it is over there, but like here, everybody was worried because they're. I mean, like, and no disrespect to anybody's lifestyle choices, but like, everybody's kids started getting fat, right? So so like parents here are like, well, fuck, they can't go to the jungle gym, they can't go to play sports, they can't do shit. They're just sitting around getting fat. So all these parents, like in America, bought like backyard trampolines, right? So that their kids can get some exercise. And then what do you know? Within a month, backyard trampolines start getting super expensive. You know what I mean? Look at the value of them starts going up because of the pandemic. And I think that collectors, is kind of in the same pocket, like being locked in, and you're just like, man, like, oh, what? I got nothing to do. Let me browse BBTS and see what's in the clearance bin. Yeah, I wouldn't mind one of these. You know what I mean? So I think, I know I've spent money on shit that I probably wouldn't have had I not been like that whole X-Trans bots, like the G1 toy versions of the Stunticons. I mean, I love them. I think they're cool. I think that the novelty of them is super cool, and I'm glad I bought them. However, I don't think I would have bought them had the pandemic not happened.
Yeah, I get you. Sometimes you should think like what you said with a trampoline, or also over here it's with webcams. Like the amount of online meetings has risen to an extent. I got no example. And the Logitech C920 was at first, when it all started, well, shortly beforehand, it was around, I don't know, 50 or 60 bucks. It's now over 100. And at one time it was over 300 bucks.
Right.
So, but with collectibles, you should think with people losing their jobs, being laid off and everything, you would think that the prices maybe would go lower because people need to keep their money together, so to speak.
Yeah. I like, dude, I mean, the conversation of the economical impact of coronavirus is a heavy conversation, and one that probably we can't necessarily tackle on this platform. But like, we've lost a lot of lives to coronavirus, right? And
True.
That sucks, like no doubt about it. It comes down to, and I'm not saying how I feel about it, I'm just putting this in the air. I just read something today that was like the statistics for coronavirus deaths for the elderly, which is people over, I think 75, they said, was like 85 or 90%. So to just take that information objectively, right, and then look at the future of what your children are going to inherit in terms of the world, and weigh the value of those two things, it's not an easy question to ask yourself. I have a dad that's 80 years old, and if I were to present that question to me, I'd have to sit there and be like, shit, okay, so what is of more value? My dad's health at 80 years old, who I love, who was a single father and took it all on his back, you know what I mean? Or the future of economy for my children. Like, it's some people like to simplify it, I think, into, well, you're talking about money versus life, and it's like, no, I'm talking about life versus quality of life. I don't know. It's just to me, it's not a simple position that we're going to find ourselves in regarding.
No, it's not a simple conversation in any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
Quite honestly, like in any way, like economy, current state of how people are living, what you say, how parents sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes raise their children, and the values that are also sometimes projected. There's a lot of nuances to that. A lot of nuances. Like let's take two last questions and then hit into my last point, because we're over 1 hour. So
okay.
Question: favorite Joker actor or version of the Joker relate from someone else's comment?
Boy. So for me, like, Joker is one of those things that like kind of goes into like the pizza category, where like it can only taste so bad, so to speak. But Heath Ledger's probably my favorite, even though it's not the most comic accurate. You know what I mean? I
know what you mean.
I love, see, what I think is key about the Joker is that he should make you completely fucking uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you don't know if he's going to kill you because your shoes are untied, or if he's going to give you $1 million because your shoes are untied. So you always live in this state of unsure, right?
Good point.
And Heath Ledger makes me feel that way in that role. Now, but I love Cesar Romero's Joker. Mark Hamill's Joker obviously is classic, and Mark Hamill's Joker in the Arkham games, which is very similar but is nuanced differently, right? Is one of my favorites. And then I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. I even love Leto's Joker. I love it for the same reasons I love Ledger's Joker. I don't think he's as good, but like when like, I don't like Suicide Squad the movie, right? But when Leto is offering Harley Quinn sexually to Tattoo, that's awkward. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And then
that's probably the only thing where I actually liked him, because otherwise I just don't like Leto's Joker.
So I'll give you a second time where I liked him. When they storm that security booth and he pulls the security guard up and straddles him, makes me uncomfortable. Like, and that's what I feel like the Joker, anytime the Joker is around, that's how you should feel. Like, oh God, what's going to happen?
That's what Joaquin Phoenix did the whole time to me.
Yeah. So to be fair, he would, like I said, it's pizza to me. The Joker is pizza to me. Like it's what makes the fucking Joker so great. It's what makes Batman so great. Is that like they are like water. Like when fucking Bruce Lee was talking about be water, like put water in the pot, it becomes the pot. Put water in the teacup, it becomes the teacup. Joker and Batman are like water. You put them in samurai suits, it works. You put them in fucking real world scenarios, it works. You put them in Tim Burton's Gotham, it works. You put them in a cartoon, it works. It always works.
Cool.
So like I love all that shit, but Joaquin is probably my least favorite of all the Jokers.
Oh, okay.
And it's just because if you have all the Jokers, one of them is going to be your favorite and one of them is going to be your least favorite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate his Joker at all. I like his Joker quite a bit, but it's just I like the other ones more.
That's putting it pretty good. I think that's pretty accurate. I like the idea with a pizza.
Yeah.
That's good. Peter Duders, he would like to ask us fellas about the teased maybe Ultra Magnus from XTB. What are your thoughts?
I don't care, dude. Like here's the problem that I find myself in with X-Transbot specifically. Like, I feel like third party is in a really interesting position right now because it seems like it's on life support, especially in the masterpiece scale. So like now's the time to kind of really do something exciting, and you're not.
And they're just not.
And you're not. And it's like I'm like, oh, come on, like if like I don't know this it's like all right. So when you're having like a campfire, it's burning, right? And then you get it rocking and rolling, and then you get excited. You start throwing more wood on it. It's fucking raging now.
Yeah.
But you can put too much wood on it, and then it actually starts to smother the flame. So you got to control that. And we've had a little, maybe too much wood on it, so to speak. And then it catches its kind of rhythm, where it's the right amount of fuel, the right amount of air, the right, or you know what I mean, whatever, like right amount of everything, heat, and it's burning. And then it starts to eat through the fuel, and then it starts to get smaller, and it starts to die out. So in order to raise the fire back up, you need to feed it. And I don't know if an Ultra Magnus is what should be on the menu.
Hmm. Good point. Like that's a little bit also. I believe that was your last sit down Saturday where you said not everybody can have steak on one day. That you have to nuance it a little bit. One has essentially to, I don't know, to miss out on that, to have a little bit more diversity. And essentially with the shockwave now, we had a lot of shockwaves. Then we had a lot of Galvatrons with new age toys, and I don't know. There's so many other things like Dennis always talks about DEF CON. Why is no one doing DEF CON? Or that dude on Instagram, Mark Hirschberg, he did a custom death head from the Marvel G1 comics. Instead of doing the super weird ones where, I don't know, Blue Oyster did the Spike, the Autobot X, and X-Transports also teased that. Do maybe a few that are maybe a little bit more interesting. That maybe don't throw too much money into the pot with everything, but where people just say, God, I love this. I've waited so long for this. Where the community just cries out and says, fuck yes, you know?
Yeah. And I think that sometimes it's like, you know, to take it back to that steak versus pizza thing, is that like, you know, you're going to make a lot more money selling one steak over one pizza, but maybe you could sell 10 pizzas. You know what I mean? If you could sell 10 pizzas, then you might be in a better spot than just selling the one steak, you know? Yeah. And I think that X-Transbots has done a kind of somewhat desperate but respectable job of trying to be second place. But like, I think that they could let some shit go. Like, I don't think that like, especially as we start getting into smaller characters, you know, like I don't think that everybody needs fully articulated fingers. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the same way. Like there's ways to cut corners and save costs without sacrificing what something is. And I just think they make a lot of weird choices, man. It's like rooting for the kid that like it's like your nephew, you know, but like, you know, they're not the greatest ball player. And it's like when you see them up there, you know, there's a chance they could hit the ball and get a solid base hit. But God damn, when they strike out, it's like, fuck, like, it's like, you know, you don't want them to be like, you know, you don't want them to lose, but it's like, it happens like a fair amount, specifically with them. That fucking egg is like so silly, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I don't like it. The function should have been way faster. It could have looked way better. I would even say in the direct comparison with the Impossible toys, to me personally, the Impossible toys kind of wins because it actually is enough also for the size and with the antenna and with the colors and everything. And it doesn't have the electric feature where it just pushes to what you said, almost $200. It's just too much in my book. I don't need it. Like, not at all.
Much. Like it's a crazy world when you're spending like when a Quintesson doesn't cost as much as the Remotomaster, or you know what I mean, or vice versa. Like it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
You're bankrupting the fandom on Quintessons.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
or comparison that I could draw. Let's take the Hot Toys Hulkbuster. You know, the community was complaining about that you can't fit a Mark 45 in there or 43 or whatever in there. So they developed the whole thing so it would fit in. But that's what the community actually asked about, and hence this thing sold well. But now the trailer for XTB has a base mode that's essentially just, I don't know, to me it looks like folded up cardboard boxes, nothing else.
Yep.
And there's a base mode no one asked about, and no one will ever display it. There's just supply and demand, and you know the demand was the Hulkbuster, and the supply is the trailer where no one asked for it.
Yep. I can't stress it enough. They make the weirdest decisions in third party, and like I'm almost like to take it back to my nephew at the ball game thing. Like You know, this past week, Sit Down Saturday, my whole video is about like, look, give ex-trans bots a fucking chance. Like, don't step on them right now. Like, everybody's hurting. You know what I mean? So don't kick anybody when they're down right now. Let everybody live right now.
Yeah.
Then they do this shit. You know, and I'm like, never mind. I guess kick them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people will still buy it, of course, but this is also for a longer discussion, I believe. But final thing I got, man, and I think this one could maybe hit home with you. Community bullshit. You know about it in your comments and everywhere. Maybe also on the private section of your own Facebook. If you could have actual influence on people, if you could say something, what would that be? So people would actually listen and also say, that's a point. I do this from now on, you know, where people say to me, like, you always say this and that is bullshit. I'm always saying, I don't say it's bullshit. I say to me, it's bullshit. That is my opinion. You like it, you win. So if you could tell people something, I don't know, similar, a message that really hits home and would actually be abided by. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I think, well, the one thing that stands out to me big time is that, like, if you are personalizing what I'm saying, you got it mixed up, because like, I don't know you. So like, I'm not talking about you. I'm usually not talking about anybody personally. I'm usually talking about a product. If you take offense to that personally because of that product, like, you just need to like realize that I'm not talking about you. I probably think you're fine. And everything that I do has been for the sake of protecting you, like protecting the money, protecting your hard-earned money. I've never played it the other way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I got. Like, these, I wish I didn't take as much time with the negative shit as I do. I wish I was better about it. And now people are even calling me out for it. Like, you know, I'll make a comment and somebody respond to me like, just don't give them the time. You know, like, don't waste your time. Like, and they're right. You know, but I don't know. I'm what do they call it when I act off instinct? You know, like I'm fucking.
Yeah, me too. You just want to communicate. You just want to I don't know, kind of get around the bush, see what's going on, what drives them, you know, and maybe go into a healthy discussion or anything. I'm the same way.
But I also have a quick temper, and like, if the thing is that, like, while I may not be speaking about anybody personally because I don't know, you know what I mean, who, like, you know, like Ultrabot 24, you know, that just made a nasty comment. Like, I don't know him. I probably never will. So like, I can't be speaking about him personally because I don't know him.
Yeah.
So like there was one time where I made a joke about it's like coming out of the mall with no bags, right?
Yeah.
And like, somebody made a comment like, you elitist, like, I come out of the mall sometimes with no bags. I window shop. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, so do I, man. It's like, I often come out of I'm just making a joke, and like there's like a be human. Like, I'm just being human. Like, I'm just talking like normal people talk. Like, I'm not like saying you personally, but like, he already feels a way, I guess, about coming out of the mall with no bags. And now he feels like I'm speaking to him directly, and I'm not. But like, the thing is what they say back to me is personal, right? Because they're speaking directly to me in personal. But now they've got to be, and this is just it's not even necessarily about me, but you got to just think about this. If you mention my name, or you're speaking about me, and we bump into each other, now you've got to be accountable for that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I had a little bit back in the day. Just a short story. I have this opinion that I think Hasbro is pretty much lazy. Where they started up with Siege and Earthrise and Kingdom. Kingdom now is better, but they started out with less waffles, you know, and better joints and everything, and even dry brush. And then they reverted somewhat back to waffles and less paint and everything. And I say, they're just lazy, you know. And I had this one point where someone said to me, you call out everybody that collects Transformers official that they are lazy. I didn't say that. You know, that's essentially the same thing. He said, you said that, and I didn't. So then we had a falling out. But that's just a communicative thing. It's just so overly weird that sometimes people would actually do that. They quote you wrong and they put you in it like, if this is the actual status quo, that is what happened. And I don't get people sometimes in the community. Overall, it's a wonderful thing. Like, I mean, you know that with your Skullfest and everything. You got a lot of friends in the community, but sometimes comments and what people say and now in today's age is just super weird.
Well, that's another thing. Like, a lot of times, if people only knew that, like, if they didn't, if they didn't personalize what I was saying and then take offense to it and then, regurgitate that negative energy back at me that they've misguided or, misconceived.
Yeah.
What they don't know is that they came up to me in person and just addressed me like, man, what about this? That, like, I would talk to them at length about it. Like, you know what I mean? I would buy them a drink. I would sit down, like, that's who I am. I've done, like, I don't know. I don't want to get on any kind of soapbox about the shit, but, like, there's a lot of things that people can talk about with me and mistakes that I've made and missteps and all that stuff. But what you can't do is say that I haven't given to the community, because I have at every chance I could. And we've fundraised for anybody that was going through, like, real fucking tragic shit that, like, needed serious help. I've helped organize that stuff. Like, this is what I'm about. I've always been about is the fucking fan base. And I don't mean my fan base. I mean the fan base of this fucking fandom, and I've given at every turn, time, energy, effort. I've only said, I think, no to, like, one person, you know what I mean? And that's only because they didn't ask.
Yeah.
They just said, hey, I'm doing a podcast. You'll be on it when? And I was like, well, I'm not going to be on it because you haven't even fucking said, hey, dude, would you mind? You know what I mean? It would mean a lot. Or, hey, do you have time to, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I have given a lot of my time, energy, effort, and money into the community, and that's with all the other shit you could say about me, that I don't read directions, that ham-fisted, to bring it back to you, that, you know what I mean? That I'm an elitist, that I'm this and that, all those things. I'll take all of that because I can at least understand the perspective on some of it if I don't necessarily agree. But what you can't say is that I didn't do my part for this.
I can only copy that, and I would actually say, since I blocked you for so long, man, for the sake of giving, thanks for giving me your time, dude.
No worries.
I had a fucking great time. It was good to talk to you, and maybe we do that. We repeat that in the future again, maybe somewhere else, maybe on the Nerds Have Spoken, maybe somewhere else. So thanks for everybody in the chat. Thanks to you again. And I would say this is your moment to shine. People are in the chat actually that don't know you. Where can people find you? What are you doing and everything?
You know where to find me, man. I'm in your girl's DMs.
Always.
I'm trying to find out if she's down for the threesome.
So with that, people, thanks again for checking me out. Thanks for checking out Bobby Skullface, and for all the opinions and all the comments, and also later on, be sure to like and subscribe, not only to me but also to him. So I will catch you shortly. Thanks again, Bobby. Have a great evening, dude.
My pleasure, man. Take care.
You too, man.